Welcome to Port Burwell, Ontario. Yes, that's a submarine. And yes, we're like 2,000 kilometers away from the nearest naval base. This is the HMCS Ojibwa. Haven't read a whole lot about it. We're about ready to go on board, do the tour. From what I understand, it's like a Cold War era 1950-ish North Atlantic Canadian submarine. Yeah. We're nowhere near the water either. Well, I guess that's not true. There's a little river over there, but Lake Erie's just behind us, and it's going to be interesting to find out how they got this here. So stick around and we'll take the tour and find out. So this is going to be a quick overview tour, actually. We're not going to get too depth, mostly because there was like 9 of us on the tour. It was really hard to shoot a whole lot of video. But it starts in the forward torpedo room. As you can see, there's a mock torpedo there in the 4 tubes. Looking down one of the torpedo tubes, that is a long way out to the front of the ship. Supposedly, sailors would climb out there and kiss the bulkhead on the front of it, because that's kind of the good luck, as that's what's keeping them protected from the ocean. It's a better look of the forward torpedo room. Now, this was a diesel-electric sub, so that is a mock-up of one of the large batteries. And these ports throughout the whole sub, they were access into the 2 battery rooms in the lower hull section. Now, like I said, because there's so many people on the tour with us, I'm just going to hit some highlights here. This is the captain's quarters. As you can see, not a whole lot going on in here other than the fact that, yes, he did have his own private bed. You can see the way the wall is notched. That's because the last captain of the sub was 6'3", and they actually had to expand the room slightly to allow him to stretch out when he slept. Now forward into the command center. This is looking up the tunnel that would lead up into the fin and be the primary access port in and out of the ship for the crew. Unfortunately, they don't let us up inside there, but that would have been rather neat. I can see, however, how that little ladder could be a safety hazard for some people trying to climb up inside the fin to get a look around. This is the helm station for the sub. A big depth gauge there in front of us. An important thing there to know is just how deep you are. Submarine operates very similar to an airplane with a control yoke. Push the control yoke forward, you go down, pull it back, you go up, similar to an airplane, and then you have the left and right control as well. The other interesting thing is the manual valves everywhere. Remember, due to the era of a sub like this, there were no computers on board to control this. Everything was done by hand. Of course, on these types of tours, everybody wants to see the bathroom. Well, here it is, one of 3. There was only 1 shower on board, which from what we were told, nobody really ever used. You showered only when you got into port, just to conserve fresh water. Which, yes, sometimes it meant sailors would go 2, maybe 3 weeks, sometimes even more than a month between showers. Now, the sub carried a crew of 69 sailors, and this little tiny kitchen fed every one of them at least 3 meals a day. Now, it's said that submariners actually had the best food in the Navy because food is how you keep morale high. Just past the galley is the engine room. Housed in here are 2 supercharged 16-cylinder diesel engines that produce over 1,800 horsepower each. The engines are affectionately named Bert and Ernie. And unlike most diesel engines, these don't drive the propellers directly. These feed electric generators, which then spin the electric motors or send power to the battery banks. Our tour guide was saying this was actually one of the quietest subs ever built due to this design, and also due to the design of the propellers, which we'll see in just a minute. Behind the engine room is the electrical control center. I have to give credit to the historical society that looks after the sub in the museum. Everything is kept just in immaculate condition. The sub looks like she could go to sea at any day. It's hard to believe it was built in the 1960s. Stepping out of the rear of the sub, you'll notice these two big fins above the propellers. Those were actually to stop airplanes from being able to take pictures of the propeller design while the sub was on the surface in port. Like I said, the sub was one of the quietest ever built, and the propeller design was the leading reason for that. So, of course, it was, at the time, top secret information. Something else interesting with these propellers, due to their size, it surprised me to find the edge is as thin as it is and as sharp as it is. I mean, you're not cutting paper with it, but that's a pretty sharp looking edge. So we walk back around the bow of the ship. You can see 3 of the torpedo tube doors there from the forward torpedo room. 3 more on the opposite side, and that's about where I'm going to wrap up the tour here. Like I said, short and quick. I'll put a link in the description below where you can find the sub if you're ever in and around Port Burwell, Ontario. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.